gonna PaintWithJosh. We're gonna PaintWithJosh. We're gonna PaintWithJosh. You put the boom into my heart. You set my soul sky high when your painting show starts. PaintWithJosh into my brain. He's gonna paint till he drives us insane. Something's bugging you, something.
Are we live? Awesome. Let me know if you guys can hear me, because I can't hear. I want to make sure you guys can hear my voice clearly. So, let me know, can you hear me? And then check in, let us know where you're watching from out there in the night. Oh, all over the place. Anybody? Good. You can hear? Perfect. I don't like hearing my own voice anyway. It kind of distracts me. So, excellent. We're on a 16 by 20 inch canvas tonight. I do not feel very well at all when I came up here and decided to paint you guys a really cool painting. And we're probably only going to do the one show tonight. So if you're looking at grabbing a painting, this will be the only live show tonight. Unless I miraculously feel better. I don't think it's going to. Check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there in the night. And then we'll take our paper towel and wipe off all this excess paint. Right? We just scrubbed on and massaged in all this liquid clear, and now we need to remove it because we probably put on too much. You know what I mean? And when we put on too much, we have the capability of it dripping in the night. And nobody likes that. So let's get over here, and we're going to load up this guy with our ultramarine blue. And then we're going to ignite all that blue color with our liquid white. It's going to be gorgeous. So let's take a little bit of our blue, push it around here, and that way you'll have all this bluey color, and you'll see that this blue is a transparent color. The definition of a transparent color is that you can't see it over the black canvas, but you can when it plops itself over something white or some white acrylic out there. Now, I don't want to cover this moon in any color. I'm going to leave it nice and bright white, so we're just going to take our little bit of blue, put it around the back, put it around the side. Try not to touch the dang thing. That's going to be vital. Don't touch it, otherwise it'll instantly go and turn into a blue moon out there. Okay, I'm going to continue adding more and more and more of this blue, and then deciding what I want it to look like. How much blue do I want to have on here? The more that I put on here, the more is going to ignite. Right? What if... Dudes, what if we put a little waterfall right here? Just dumped over this color down this way, making it bigger than we need to. And then, again, can't hear again. Are we there now? Okay, can you guys all hear me again? I don't know what happened, why it was there and then disappeared, but we should be back if you guys can hear me. Okay, we're good. Perfect. So I'm taking my ultramarine blue. We're coloring all over this canvas, even over my little galaxy or little star way off in the distance back there. Putting a little of the blue in our waterfall shape and then loading up some of it down here, just in case we need some mist or some sort of color back there. Now, like I said, we're going to use our liquid white in order to ignite all this blue color and turn it almost into a daytime sky. So we need to have enough of our liquid white onto our brush, and in my little petri dish, I just don't have enough. So let me get a little bit more. This thing is fully solidified. We're going to have to open up a brand new jar, you guys. Brand spanking new jar. Oh, goodness. Don't be like that. I can't. I don't feel good already, and now I can't get this jar out. Are you kidding me? Oh, dude, we're not going to be able to paint if we can't get this open. Oh, my God. That really hurts. Well, looks like we're going to have to try to use one that's in that old jar, because this will not open. I have to try to get my... Excalibur up in there and crank whatever's loose. Okay, so it's going to be, let me show you what we're going to do. Since we have this bit of our liquid white jar, right, and there's literally the smallest bit in there, which is why it won't pour out, what I'm going to do is get a little of my odorless mineral spirits from my cleaning bucket and try to deposit a little bit of that into this liquid white jar. Now, if we put the lid back on, we kind of shake this guy up just a little bit. Huh?
Don't put the lid back on.
Yeah, and it might get stuck closed. There we go. This guy. There we go. We got a little bit more. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to work on trying to get that other one open for sure. It's being a big pain in the buns. So, all right, we just need a little touch of our liquid white, a little bit, onto our brush. And let's go way down here, and it's going to be very bright when you very first put it on there. Very, very, very bright. And then the more that we mix it, the more it will blend in with that blue. Now remember, you don't need it to go all the way up to the top. It doesn't have to crisscross or cover our moon or anything, really. Like, if you want it to be dark, then you can have it. If you want to have it be super bright, then you can have that as well. And I had the thought, what if it did cross over the moon? Then the moon will look like in the daytime when it's just very faint up there in the sky. Yes. That. Oh, it's kind of like the old star out there that's going over Alderaan, man. Just, boy, you got to look real hard up into the sky for this one. So, we're taking our liquid white, like I said, come down here and then push it and blend it upwards, making our moon look very faded in this kind of darker, hazy part of our sky back there. Fabulous. All right, the more that we mix it and push, the brighter it's going to be, the more it's all going to be the same. So if you want it to be lighter to darker, right, then don't go crazy with your mixing and making everything all bright. We need it to be darker, especially up at the top. Okay, so brighter paint down there at the bottom. And then leave it. We'll see what it looks like. Ooh, ooh, that's fabulous. You know what? I was thinking waterfall this whole time, but we might just change it into something else. That looks really cool. I like that. Okay. So what we're going to do here is let's throw a couple little clouds out into the sky. We'll take our titanium white. And now our canvas is it's double wet. It's got the liquid clear, and then it's got the liquid white kind of washed over it as well. So what if we popped up in here this weird, crazy old shape of a cloud? Just something nuts. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of mushing it, pushing it around, having it plop down over here, over there, wherever. Seriously. It doesn't, like, every time you do it, it's just another chance to make a different shape of a cloud and another cool little thing. So it's supposed to be very thick. Your liquid clear, I see your question over there. It's like my liquid clear is very thick. It is very much like syrup, right? Very, very thick. And when you're putting it on there, if you put it on too heavy, right, then it's going to be very sticky. And what you need to do is take that amount and spread it and push it, massage it in more into the canvas. And that way it'll become more slippery. The more that we massage it, the more slippery it shall become. That looks really cool. Oh, I like it. Very cool. I've had the same thing though. It's like, you really have to either wipe off that excess or scrub in that paint very, very, very roughly in order for it to become slippery, right? Because it is, when you very first put it out of that jar, very sticky paint. Very sticky old paint. Now, the difference with linseed oil versus liquid clear, linseed oil is very thin, and you just need the smallest amount of it in order to have that thing spread across, an entire wall you could cover with the smallest little bit of linseed oil. But the liquid clear, being thicker, takes a little bit more work to spread it out, and a lot more to cover a bigger space, that's for sure. There. These cool little clouds out here in the day. Okay, let's get out here, and then we're going to take our plaque mix. We need to mix up. So does anyone out there know what the 3 colors are that you need to mix up in order to make Paint with Josh plaque? The deepest, darkest color known to mankind's existence? Anybody out there? I don't know either. It's fine. No, it's blue. It's blue, crimson, and black, and that'll make up a purplish black color that we call Paint with Josh plaque. Now, we have to decide. I know I said I was going to put a mountain in this one, but I don't want a mountain in it anymore. Honestly, why don't we start with just a bunch of background trees back there? All right, we'll toss our background trees in, get all set and ready to go. And that'll be something different from the back versus just doing a mountain all the time, right? Now, it also takes away, like if we liked how our sky or our clouds were too low or whatever, you can remove a section by taking out that mountain and then just starting a little bit closer with our forest, right? So we'll get down in here. You got to go up into the clouds, down on one side, kind of down on the other side. And then the only reason that it looks like forest is that it's filled in, right? You don't want to have gaps in between like this, right? That doesn't look like forest. It looks like a bunch of fence posts out there at different heights and stuff, right? So all you have to do is add more and make sure that it's filled in at the bottom so we can't see any sky coming through towards the bottom of the trees, right? We're going to mist it up and do all sorts of other stuff, but you only want the little gaps at the tip tops of the trees. Everything else, just kind of smoosh it in down here. Doesn't even matter what it looks like, honestly. How many trees have you seen that are exactly the same? It was so funny. I got a comment on Facebook the other day. It was like, I have a book of all the trees on planet Earth, and that tree is not in there. And I was like, you have a book of every species, which I believe you have a book of every species, but not every variation of every species of tree or every tree that's on the planet. I mean, there's not enough pages in the world to fill up that many, to have that many trees. Anyway, it's just a funny comment to me. There, that little forest back there. We push our sky in the background. Take our big old 2-inch brush, we'll come back here, be very light, and kind of push up on it from the bottom, pulling away when you get to the top. That way we don't streak up all that dark paint up into our sky. Kind of light right here, and then we're going to go to an extreme heaviness where we're hitting it, right? We're not dragging, we're not pulling or brushing the paint down. We're tapping into it, coming down a little bit. Tapping into it, coming down a little bit. Tap it and move, and tap and move, and you never want to be in the same spot for too long. Right? You don't want it to just be straight across, so kind of go up or down or here or there or wherever. And the more that you mix it, the more it's going to mix in with the colors underneath. That was that liquid white in the sky and our blue and all the stuff that's down here. Then we'll come in here and just spin up the bottom. You got to put that SH in front of everything. Spin it up over here. Swipe it, spin it, shit on it, sit on it, but it's... But with the SH, you have to, I didn't mean to do that. That was like a me, my, mo, now I forget.
I don't think anyone.
Chuck, Bo Buck, Banana Fan, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like that. It was, it wasn't meant to be like that. But yeah. Stop it. Okay, so now we've got our forest in the background. We can kind of figure where we want to see some stuff. Mix up this bit of mist, and you can decide where these trees live. Do they live all the way down here? Do they live up a little bit higher? And then we can decide, do you want to put in a new section? Do you want to keep going and just layer in forest all throughout the thing? Do you want to have a bit of snow in between or a bit of land or something? We can even take that fan brush that's got our white paint on it and just start dragging things up right here. Seriously. What do you want to see back there in the night? It's up to you guys. Right? A little bit of snowiness, a little bit of craziness. That looks really cool, actually. Really cool. And again, just getting smaller and smaller and smaller strokes up here. So longer, and then they get shorter, 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 shorter. Making it go, or look like anyway, that it's going from a further away point to a closer point over here. That looks neat, my friends. What if we came in like this, cut in our little bit of our snowy, just a little bit of titanium white onto our blade, almost like we do with our water, but it's going to leave a cool little lip on the edge of our snow out here. Fabulous. That is cool. So, are we running commercials in this one? Okay, well, let's get ready to... Huh? Yeah? Okay, let's get ready to... Okay, well, let's get ready to run a commercial. You guys hang tight for about 30 seconds. Check this little commercial out, and then let me know what you think about it when we get back right after these words.
Holy cow, did you see with all of our new setup and all of our new equipment that we can actually see and I'm talking about all of your comments. So not a single comment will get missed. Nothing gets lost. I can see them on the television. And London right back here is checking everything out on the computer. So comment, comment, comment. It helps much more than you might think and helps boost engagement and gets us out to more people. So let's get back to the show and see what we got going on up there.
on. See? I think I even said it there. See what we got going on up there. Okay. So let's decide. We're going to have a couple things that are sitting right down here in the front. We know we're going to have, this will be our water. So in fact, we can actually do a little waterfall back there if we so chosen, right? So let's imagine, we can even take our fan brush back here. A couple ways you can do it. You can either take your palette tool and put in a little layer or a little line of water and then pull it down like we've done before. You know what I mean? You can do that, and you can pull it to the side, do all sorts of things. You probably want a cleaner brush. If you want to pull it down and pull it to the side, kind of works like that. Would work a little bit better with the liquid white, right? You could also do it kind of side to side, where you're just making little drag marks back and forth, not trying to make it all perfect. You know what I mean? All up to you, seriously. How do you want it to look? Because if you didn't like it, you can always swipe it down and then swipe it to the side. Boom, right? Fabulous. Remember, leave that little dark separator in there. Now, I would imagine all of our paint, if our water came this way, it would kind of hit, maybe it came over to the side right here, so it would hit and go over and down. Turn the brush over, down, right? Launch over this little waterfall of a thing, taking it from whichever way you pulled it and pull it off this back way, right? That kind of helps feed into the tumultuousness of it getting crazier as it gets closer and then falling over the edge, right? You could do all sorts of things. You could put in a bunch of little rocks or whatever. All up to you guys, honestly. You guys have all the time in the world. You could make it bigger with more swipes and more paint. Up to us. If we wanted it to be really thick on there, you load it up and then very lightly launch over. The more that you push over it, the more it's going to mix up all these little things. Now, let's make a crazy old little shape of a, I don't know, bit of mist or something. And remember, go up into your waterfall versus down. If you go down underneath it, we're going to run out of space. So go up underneath here. That's just titanium white. It's got that liquid, or excuse me, it's got the ultramarine blue base down there. And then we can decide where we want to have our water come from. Maybe launch it in a little bit right there. Right? It's kind of flowing off to the side. Maybe it goes over this side. Maybe it's wherever. Right? All we need is a little bit of color out here in order to kind of dangle over our little branches and such. So let's say our little misty thing got a little crazier, a little bit bigger, went over here a little bit more, wherever. It's honestly, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever. You can make it look however. You can mix it as hard or as lightly as you want. Again, leaving a little dark separation in between the mist and the actual water. Get out there like that. Mix it up. Don't touch your actual waterfall though. That thing you need to remain nice and heavily laid on there like that, okay? Now, we've kind of brought our horizon down to this level right here. So everything that's in the background there is just that, in the background. And our big foreground pieces can come down and live right here, right? So just to show you just what I mean, what if we had a big old tree, or 2 or 6 or 7, however many, right? Just about right there, right above our background forest, coming down, cutting through, and bang, lives right on the edge of this little waterfall. This is why the water has rolled down this way, has had to turn and roll over to the side, because it's hit a blockage over here, okay? Now we're going to get up in here, and we're going to tap on very lightly at first, and then the more that we go down, the more we push in, right? Just with the corner of the brush, and that will extend the brush outwards, right? Until you get so far to where you then have to start bouncing the brush side to side and changing it, right? Tap, 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 to make bigger branches and bigger things on one side, or things that kind of look like they angle up on one side and up on the other side. That's because we turn the branch that way, or turn the brush that way, excuse me. Right? It doesn't just do it on its own. You have to turn it kind of like a metronome. Just click back and forth, blacking out at least the center of the tree. Everything else in here doesn't really matter, right? We're gonna have some bushes and stuff along the bottom, but at least the center area has to be dark enough that you can't see through it. Sorry? Oh, it was a Facebook comment. Boom, 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 boom. Fabulous. There. Baboosh. Yeah, guys. Bingo, bango. I like it, right? We can always put a big old bush at the bottom of that guy. And the way to do that is make up some more of our Paint with Josh black mix, because we don't have enough. at least not to do a big old bush. So let's get a little bit more black, little crimson, little blue. We're talking about, that's a good pile of paint right there. You don't want to drop those piles onto your carpet. Let me tell you, and when you flatten it out, it becomes almost as big as my hand right there. You know what I mean? It's a lot of paint. And that's what you need. You can't do these things with a small amount. We also leave it in a little Hershey's Kiss pile. They just call you. That's funny. You leave it in a little Hershey's Kiss pile so it's got like some body there. So you're not just trying to pull from this very flat spot down here. We do that when we're trying to make, you know, small things in the background where you need a little amount of paint. But in this instance, we need a large amount of paint. So if I was just down here in the very flat spot, and I go like this a million times, I'm not going to get enough paint onto the brush, even to hold the bristles together. You know what I mean? I need to get up into that pile and wiggle it down so that I have a lot of paint on the brush. And I know I said we're going to do that bush, but let's pop another tree in over here first. We'll come on to this guy, load one down, boom, right? Wherever you want him to live. Come back in, touch it with just a corner, and then as you go in, you can see my hand hasn't moved, but we're pushing more and more and more into the canvas, creating a bigger splotch on there, right? Then once you get down enough, then you can start turning it, creating little branches and little things that pop out. And remember, not every space has to be fully full, but I like to do at least around the trunk area. So at least that area has, yeah, it's not able to be see-through'd or seen through'd. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Exactly proper English over here. Perfect, right? Drop those guys down. No matter what, don't let it get too big, right? As it going down like a triangle or a pyramid out there. But no matter what the shape is, that tree exists out there somewhere. You know what I mean? Even if you had big, crazy branches and different things, let's go in front of our moon like that and just go baboosh. Now again, where do we put the trunk? So far away that our two branches are going to be reaching out and trying to touch tips? No, we put it right down there close on the side so that when you get down here, they will intersect and then they won't be standing out so crazily against that background, right? You don't want to have too much space in between them. Otherwise, like I said, they look like they're just out there reaching for each other, which most of the time, the trees are going to drop their seeds right next to each other, and then they grow another one, and then right next to that guy grows another, and that's how all these trees end up together out there in the forest. Right? The mommy trees and the daddy trees, you guys know this isn't that kind of, this isn't health class over here, okay? Hey, now, let's just say I didn't like these, or maybe I made one that was too big. Oh no, whatever. I'm going to make something. I'm going to put another one over there anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Now, I don't need it to necessarily go smaller, taller, taller. You can also drop down and not have it be so crazily big. It's all up to us. Every time, you guys, we're in control. You guys are, at least. I'm not. But out here, smush them together again. So it didn't even really matter what either of the left side or right side of my branches. Look, this is the only one that matters out here, right? Because he's sticking out on the edge. Everything else can be filled in so heavily that you can't see through it. That pushes our stuff into the background. We can see our river flowing up. It hits a spot, it rolls over. Remember, we're going to go back in here with our big old bushy brush. We'll pop in some bushes, and then we'll go launch in all of our highlights and such. Right? Now, you need a bit of paint onto the brush. You got to kind of cover over a bit of your waterfall area. And then dip down, a couple little things, right? The more we dip down into that color that we have laid, the more it's going to look like they're overhanging right into that mistiness. Oh, it's fantastic. My word, you guys. Seriously. How much beauty can you take in one single painting? I'm loving this one. Absolutely gorgeous. Watch, we'll drop these guys down. Again, just let them overhang a little bit into that little waterous area. And then when we go back and highlight it, it'll look really cool. It'll look really neat, actually. If we take this guy, bring it up a little bit, pop this one over there, because we know we're going to have, again, a bit of land and bushes and all sorts of stuff kind of overhanging all that, guys. So we got to have our little river there. We're going to make one more little bit of our Paint with Josh plaque mix. launch in that one monster little bush, and then we'll go back and highlight all these guys. So you guys are going to have to start coming up with a title for this painting. Remember, got to project up, let the water cut its way through the bushes so we can see a couple little bits popping out, and then dangle down. Even cover up that side, just making it weirder. So this one tree is living in this whole little bushy spot right there, and they're dangling down, reaching for, maybe it's a river, maybe it's a frozen river, and it's frozen falls. You never know. You know, it's up to you guys. Totally up to you guys. All right. Now, if we were to get out here and pop in some white, make it all weird and different and odd, then you could tell it's a bit of water out there. You could also, since we've got more paint on the brush, you could pop these guys up over here. And again, depending on how we highlight it, it could look like a new bit of bush down here in the front. Only if you get too bright. Oh, that's fabulous, guys. Look, see, now you went and made me make up one more bit of my PaintWithJosh plaque mix. Because now I like how that's starting to look. I got to go back in, get more of that darkness, pop it up onto this side. And then again, depending on how we highlight it, right, it's going to look like our little bushes are wrapping around. Oof, God, I can already see it. Absolutely stellar. So you guys are going to have to start coming up with a title for this one as well. Remember, if you purchase it during the painting, you get to choose the title, no matter what it is. We had a person call the painting Tim one time, because he was going to buy the painting for his dad, Tim. And so I was like, okay, we'll name it. Yeah, we'll name it Tim. So I'd literally put Tim on the back. So if you've got the best title out there and you want to grab this painting for your own home, right? You can display it, maybe show it at the office, whatever you want to do. Maybe it could be a conversation piece when your friends come over. They're like, where did you get that painting? And you're like, oh, PaintWithJosh. He's got like 3.5 million followers on all of his accounts. He's a pretty cool dude, like shows people how to paint and stuff. He's like the next BobRoss, basically. Did you know BobRoss was actually his grandpa's cousin? You could have whole conversation starters just from getting that painting, right? Okay, maybe you bring a date home and your date follows me and he's like, oh my God, I watched Josh paint that painting. You got it? Oh, now we're kindred spirits. And it'll be like a lifelong love connection. All because you guys purchased the painting during the live show. Do you want to change your love life? This is how. Right? Right here. I'm telling you. Do you you want to make connections that matter? You got to get PaintWithJosh paintings because they open up conversation pieces, man. I've already forgotten what I said, so. Oh, yeah. All right, I'll have to go rewatch. Maybe I'll have to repost that section of the video for Valentine's Day. It's funny now because I know I was being funny, but I honestly don't remember exactly what I said. I don't remember anything I said, actually, unless you give me a... Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so I was talking about, if you were to have, like a date come over, and they're like, you know what? I can't believe you also watched this crazy guy online. And like, okay, cool. Like, it could seal the deal for you that night. Like, you never know. So, yeah, so if you want to save your love life, you got to get a PaintWithJosh painting. That's funny. Okay, let's get over here. I need to get a smaller brush so we can sit down some of our little highlights onto these trees and bushes and stuff. So I'm going to get a smaller little fan brush. We're going to go into our blue, which is basically nothing left up here. I'm going to have to get more blue out of the old paint box. And we're going to put, since all of our light is coming in this direction, you can see it's reflecting off of the bright side of the moon. So you would imagine the sun would be over here, depending on what time of day, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. We'll get in here and we're going to tap along the edge and then just leave little teeny tiny little blue little splotches. And yes, S-H-P-L-O-T-C-H-E-S. Can't believe I just pulled that out. Did I actually spell splotches correctly? I probably didn't spell it correctly anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But all we're doing is putting a couple little blue splotches, like I said, onto the left side of the tree, about halfway, okay? Don't get crazy and try to cover the entire tree, okay? And let's get more blue out now because I know I'm going to try to make what I have last, and that's... That's not it. Okay, cool. Let's go check. I'm going to go get some paint out of the box, and you guys are going to watch it live right here after these words. Why can I never find... Oh, goodness. Ah, do you ever feel like you can just never find anything in your art supply stuff? Well, I've got something for you. This enormous Meeden rolling cart storage rolling thing. It's got locking wheels, 3 drawers, tons of room, a little brush cleaner over here. Plus you can do acrylic pour right on the center. It's really cool. I suggest you get one yourselves. And if you use promo code right there on that side over there, you'll be able to grab one for yourself and thank me for it later, right? So let's get back to the show after I find this paint I'm looking for. Well, we hear it now. I heard it at the end anyway. So, that was our Meeden commercial. You guys got to go check out Meeden if you don't already like them or get their stuff. You got to. They're my sponsor. They're amazing. They send me stuff all the time. Now, let's get in here with our liquid white and our ultramarine blue just on the left side of our trees, right? We're just tapping in little bits, kind of going back and forth while tapping into the tree. I don't want to deposit too many things. I don't want to have these things get too big or touch too much, right? We got to have a little space, a little gap in between them. You don't want them to be enormous. They don't have to be big. We're not trying to cover up all of our stuff, right? We're trying to not cover up all this darkness with all this bright blue, okay? We need to save about half of our darkness on half of our tree, right? So we're only really putting bluey shadows on 1/4 of this tree, and that tree, and that tree, and that tree. Then we're going to have a 1/4 of darkness, and then we're going to have a 1/4 of brightness on the other side, another 1/4 of darkness, because you can't just put it everywhere. Now maybe this little friend can have it at the bottom because he's catching some shadow from his little guy over here, his little buddy, right? So he can have a little bit of bluey everywhere. Maybe this little guy's got a little touch down around his bottoms. Right, you can start to see these trees coming to life already. We got to do one more, and then we'll light them up with white, and we'll really blow your mind, honestly. How do you get black or dark paint and blue and white, and then have it look like a snow-covered tree? It blows my own mind, and I'm the one doing it. So, you know, if I'm blowing my own mind, prepare to be blown. Your mind. Okay, so over here, let's get all that blue paint off of our brush. We need to get white all over it, okay? So we're going to take our liquid white into our titanium white, and we're going to mix them about 50-50 on the brush. You'll see what it looks like. It starts to get wet, right? We don't want it to be too wet, and we don't need it to be too dry either. So you can't just use liquid white, and you can't just use titanium white. Okay, let's get over here. We'll pop it onto this big old dude. Little bit right up on the top, okay? And then right there, we're going to start tapping in little things, not trying to cover everything. Stay along the outside first, all right? So get in there like that, a couple little bits along the outside edge, okay? With the same brush, with the same corner, we're going up the middle now, popping a couple little bits over onto our shadowy side. And if they get too dark or too bright, just tap at them until they darken up a little bit. Right? Tell me that doesn't look like a little snow-covered evergreen out there in the night. With just blue and white, little splotches, little splotches, Josh splotch, little Josh's splotches over here, right? Over some black with some blue in there. And tell me, because you can tell me. It's okay, I can take it. Because I already know they look like little perfect little snow-covered evergreens out there. Beautiful dudes. Now, don't do too many. Don't add too much, right? One touch can be too much. So you have to kind of judge as you're going down this guy, how many times you're tapping it, how many spaces you're leaving in between those taps, what those little gaps and spaces look like, right? Are they big enough? Are they not big enough? Or you have too much in there? Because it's possible to have too much, for sure. Right? Wipe off your brush, go back in, get some more liquid white, some more titanium white. And that way, it'll come off of our brush easier. It'll be a little whiter and brighter, right? Different places, and then we'll go put our little tree trunks in after that. Okay, last little guy over here, chapping. Little chip chappities, right? Again, we don't even have to go all the way down with the highlights. We don't have to fill every spot. He's getting kind of hidden in the shadows from his little bud over here, right? Boom, boom. Couple little tip tappers, dude. Look at that for a little 3.5 or 4, however many we painted up there. Now, we'll take a bit of that titanium white and liquid white mix, a little bit more titanium white than liquid white. Okay, and we just want to put in like a little, just a little mark, a little vertical indication that there might be a bit of tree trunk kind of buried way inside there. If you can just look at it and see just these little things. Now, we don't want the tree trunk to be too big or too noticeable. You don't want to have it the same, right? So this one and this one are kind of close, but this is clearly a little bit taller up than that one is. So if anything, why don't I go a little higher, and then right in between those two, boom, pop in the next one. And then if I needed to, so they crisscross, a little zigzag pattern all the way down. Dude, that looks cool with some at the bottom. We got little trunkers hanging out down there at the bottom. Yes! Okay. Now we're going to go back into our liquid white with our bushy brush. Okay. So you get the liquid white. We're going to go into the blue because it's a snowy, cold day. And you can see I'm not tapping into the very lowest part of the paint. I'm tapping into the heavy part, the heaviest bit up there. Okay. Now remember, lots of things happening down here. We could have this one guy. He could be the backside of a little bush that's happening down here. We can light him up on the front. This little dude back here could drop it down. Just like that. Again, not trying to make them too bright. We're not trying to fill in every space. Doesn't have to be like that, right? You're choosing where it's getting hit with all of that color. Okay, so this guy, maybe we got a little bit of brightness or a little bit of darkness down in here. Boom, 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 boom. Not trying to put on too much, remember, because we can go back in with our liquid white and our titanium white. Okay, even off the other half of the brush, come up here and tap those little bristles into that pile of white. Okay, then we'll get out there and start launching in little things. Right, now you got a little bush growing back here. Maybe there's a little bit that's dangling down in the front of that little friend. Maybe you got stuff just all over. It's up to you guys, seriously. A couple little blips as you're going down, right? Can't cover up everything. You got to leave some gap. Got to leave some space. Got to leave the stuff there. We're not trying to cover every place with every, right? You got to have a little bit of each. So let's again get a little bit of our liquid white back into the titanium white. Come off of our little friend over here, keeping a little small separation, or at least having this paint be much brighter than the paint up here, right? So it looks like it's closer, it's at a different angle, it's filling up different things. Look at that for all these little bush details and stuff, right? This little friend might dangle off over here and hang down, or you might even catch a little bit more light, but it doesn't have to start above like that. You could come out like that, you know what I mean? Catching more things coming up here, even a couple little plops. Not everywhere. Keep the space in between. Just like that. Oh my goodness, you guys. That's really cool. I like it. Just if you're asking me. I don't know. It's, I mean, what's my opinion worth? Nothing, but it's fine. There. Gorgeous. Dudes, I like that. That's really cool. Okay. So you guys start coming up with a title for this one. If you want to grab this one right here live during the show, you get to come up with the title forever, right? You get to decide what it's going to be called for here, now, and forever henceforth. We'll call it whatever you say, right? But you got to grab the painting live during the show right here. Now, you also, when you grab the painting, you activate the light party for everybody, so the fans love you. Right? The light party. The fans love to see the light party, and that only happens when the painting finds a new home. So if you want to be everybody's favorite savior tonight and see the light party, again, go over and grab this painting. You will not see a photo of it right now because we're just literally painting it live, so we haven't had a chance to stop the show and take a picture and put it up online, right? So it'll have a little thumbnail of me, old Paint with Josh, inside a very ornate gold frame. And that's the very first thing that you'll see when you get there. That's the one that you want to get. Looks just like what this little guy right here. Boop. That's what it looks like right there, right? And that means that if you click on that one and it says painting number 2252, that you're going to be grabbing this painting right here. Now I know on my online it says mountain, like full moon mountain painting, but right in the beginning I decided to go against the full moon, against the mountain part of the painting and take that section out. There, guys, this one came out fantastic. And in like. Okay. I'm going to sprinkle in a couple little bits of our watery, spritzy spray. Just a couple little things right down here. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Right? Looks a little bit more like water sprinkles coming out over there. Really cool. Like it, dudes. There. All right. So you guys come up with a title. Let me know by typing it in, right? If you like this one, then go grab it, and then you can come back and tell us, hey, I want to call the painting Tim, or whatever. You know what I mean? Literally whatever you want to call it. We've had someone call it Tim before. Winter Mist, that's a cool title. Hidden Snowy Waterfall. I like that one. That one is cool. So we're going to put the little bird fam in while you guys are coming up with the title. I'm going to put the little bird family right up into the tippy toppy. And boom, we'll be all set. So, like I said, head over, grab this guy, come back, and then tell us what to call him. Dang, fabulous. God, this one came out better than I thought. I'm going to throw in a couple little branchies too. When you're on a black canvas, it's hard to kind of pipe in these little guys by doing it with the palette tool like Bob would do, where you would kind of scrape away the paint. Well, when you don't have any bright white canvas underneath, then there's nothing to scrape away and reveal, right? So you got to paint these little things in ourselves, which takes a little bit more work. Fabulous. Dude, that came out amazingly. So, again, you can grab this one. You'll be everyone's favorite, especially mine. You'll be my favorite if you grab this painting. And get to activate the light party. We get to do the RGB party. And you get a free gift off the Spinny Winnie wheel, which is everyone's favorite gifting wheel. Right? You could win a shirt, a hat. Well, you could win the Paint with Josh backpack. You could win... What else did we have on there? Glitterwix candles. I can't even see the wheel because the thing is that we got like glassware. Yeah, the light is very, very bright over here. Yeah, the glassware, the wine glass or the beer glass, those are really cool. All depends on the wheel of destiny, but you can't spin it unless you grab the painting live during the show. So, this one came out amazing. Let's pick a title, and then, I don't know, I think I might feel better. Feel better enough to come back, especially if this one were to go find a home. Or if any of, I literally put a bunch of paintings down to 89 bucks. So if you want to go and check them out, lots of brand new paintings that just don't have videos attached to them. I did them off screen or in a class or whatever. Those are a little bit less. And I always try to keep at least 5 to 10 at that 89 price so that everybody can get a Paint with Josh painting. And it's not like a, you know, one of the old crappy, you know, Paint with Josh paint. You should get these newer paintings. You know what I mean? There's brand new stuff over there.
That's why I'm looking funny up ahead.
What?
You're like, oh, an old crappy paint.
None of them are true, but either older or less popular. Like these are brand new. You know what I mean? Let's see. Why? Why don't you title it In the Night? I like that one. Yeah, it's like, what? You have crappy ones? I mean, should we show them the seashell Florida one? Because even you said that one was bad.
Okay, that's not what happened.
You did say that was bad.
Right, but that's not what happened.
That's why we took that one out of the store. It's not even available anymore.
Every painting is stunning.
True. Forest of Dreams. I like that one.
That was just Paint with Josh quality.
True. It was a stencil. It was giving me a hard time. We use oil paint in the wet on wet technique for the person asking over there. Hidden snowy waterfall, which I love. I like how one just says, why don't you call it In the Night? That's my favorite. Gravity Falls is actually, that's really cool. Who said that? Oh, well, type it in so we can pin it. What are you doing? I can't find my marker either. Well, no, don't type it in under my name. Where's my marker? Oh, here we go. All right, let's call it Gravity Falls then. I like that. Oh, okay. Reese's and Family. Let's pin them up. Gravity Falls. Have you guys ever seen that cartoon, by the way? I mean, it's for kids, but it's not for kids as well. Like if you're an adult and you get into it, there's like 2 seasons. The guy that voices Morty, he's in that show as a different character, obviously. Same voice though. Like it's Morty's voice, just in this Gravity Falls show. And so if you're a fan of that, go check it out. It's a really cool thing. It's like UFOs and all sorts of craziness in that show. And just because it's animated, okay, doesn't mean it's just purely for kids. Or I'm just a big kid and I, I like it. So, Gravity Falls. Perfect. Okay, so you guys have been amazing. I can't wait to see what you come up with when you paint your version of this painting. Gonna be awesome. Go over here to check out all sorts of paintings, prints, posters, and everything else you can imagine right there. You just got to do a little bit of reading. You can read. You can read, I think. I'm pretty sure. If you can type out Paint with Josh and find me on YouTube, then you can pretty much read, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so this guy's wanting to be a pain in the butt. It is good, isn't it? Yeah, it's awesome. Okay. So, Miranda, I agree. Your daughter and I watch it? That's wicked cool. My daughter and I used to watch it, and then she stopped watching it, and I continued finishing on the season. Because it's a really good show. I like it. It's only 2 seasons. They didn't make any more. There's no, like, open-ended like cliffhangers. It's a nice, concise little 2-season show. If you want to go check it out. Let's see, I might go home and start it up again. Man, look at how cold and bluey this one came out. I love it. The little sparkles in the water down here. Oh, it's fantastic. You know what? And I totally forgot, because Cosmic asked for some glitter the other night on her painting, and then I forgot to do it. So let's put some glitter on this guy. As the thing's blowing, it's blowing it at me. There we go. Gorgeous. Yeah, gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you guys have been amazing. We can't wait to come back. Maybe we'll do another one. We'll just have to find out and see, right? A lot of times when we do come back for a second show, we come back at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock if you're Central, 8 o'clock if you're Mountain Time, or if you're on the West Coast like me, 7 o'clock. So we'll be back around then, unless my stomach acts up again and I just have to go home. Plan on me being here. If not, then we'll be here back again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until... I tried to let it flow right into it, man. But yeah, remember to send us in your versions, official Paint with Josh on Facebook. And until we see you guys again on net. No, I have to finish. Last take, 1 take Jake, they call me. So until... What was I even saying? Please send in your versions of this painting to me on Facebook at official Paint with Josh. There's too many fake Paint with Josh pages. Push through. Paint with Josh pages out there. There's too many fakes. So follow the official Paint with Josh page. And until I see you guys next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And bye. Well, that one came out amazing. I'm glad you guys were here to comment and like and share. Be sure you subscribe. Be sure you follow. And until we get to that next painting, make sure you check out PaintWithJosh.com. There's always something else to look at over there. So I appreciate you guys. And until I see you guys again later, take care.